Hey everyone, Andrew back again and welcome to another video, and I'm here with a thread response. I'm going to actually be doing a few thread responses over the next few videos. For today's video I've decided to do a quick thread response to GrungeFinland. Very new to his channel, so I'll be leaving a channel link in the description box below. So if you feel like checking out a new channel, please check him out. I've watched a few of his videos and he seems like a pretty cool person within the VC, so yeah, check him out if you haven't already. Anyway, he's currently doing a bit of a thread for 100 subs, so GrungeFinland, first of all, congratulations on 100 subscribers. And I wanted to do this thread because I think it's a really cool idea, and not enough people really talk about albums from this era, which is the 1990s. So the thread responses basically show 7 albums from the 1990s, so from 1990 up until 1999 obviously. Now, apart from Nirvana's Nevermind, which everyone knows about, I'm not the biggest fan of grunge. I'm not really overly familiar with the genre, to be honest, so I won't really be showing any grunge themed albums. I'm more of a metalhead, so that is where my focus will be for this response. But all the same, GrungeFinland, I hope you enjoy the response, and obviously to anyone else watching this video, I also hope you enjoy it. But I just think it's a great idea. I don't think enough people give the 1990s the credit that it often deserves. You know, there's some absolutely fantastic metal albums, not just metal but albums in general, that came out during that era of music. So without further rambling on, I'm just going to get straight into it. Alrighty, so these are in no particular order. So first up we have Sepultura, Arise, my favourite Sepultura album, just an amazing album, very heavy vocally and just amazing all round, and the artwork is absolutely killer. The next one was kind of a tricky one for me because I was kind of debating between a couple of albums for this band, but I went with Testament, The Gathering. I decided to go with this album because it's one of the albums that not many people tend to mention when they mention anything to do with this band, and this is an absolutely fantastic album, especially from a vocal standpoint. There's a lot of vocal difference within this album. You know, there's very heavy vocals and some softer vocals, and it all just works really well. And like all of Testament's albums, just absolutely amazing guitars and drums. So that is Testament, Gathering. The next one's a 90s classic, and that is Judas Priest's Painkiller. Not only does it have my favourite Priest artwork, but it probably is my favourite Priest album. It's certainly the heaviest album, which I'm a big fan of, and there's just so many great tracks from start to finish. I just think it's an absolutely all-round fantastic album. So that's Judas Priest's Painkiller. Next up is another album that I definitely think gets overlooked, especially in this rather large discography, and that is Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears. Easily my favourite Ozzy album. This is just absolutely fantastic. It has 3 of my all-time favourite Ozzy songs, which is Hellraiser, No More Tears and Desire. But not only those 3 songs, this album is full of great songs, and I definitely think this album gets overlooked when it comes to Ozzy. Next up we have Death Angels Act 3. This is a pretty different album to a lot of other albums put out by this band. It's not as heavy as some of the other albums, but I really like it. It's got a lot of great songs on it. This is another album that really needs no introduction. Slayer, Seasons of the Abyss. quite possibly my favourite Slayer album. I kind of go back and forth between this and South of Heaven, but for me, Seasons of the Abyss is great from start to finish, and it's a really good mix of Rain and Blood and South of Heaven. So that's that one. And the last album I am going to show is on vinyl, and that is Saxon's Dog of War. This is an absolutely exceptional album. Quite possibly my favourite Saxon album. I kind of go between this and a couple of others, but this is definitely a standout for me within Saxon's library. Saxon, you guys have heard it from me before, extremely underrated band. So yeah, if you're into more of a traditional heavy metal band that's pretty easy to get into and you've never checked out anything from Saxon, definitely highly recommend these guys. But yeah, Dogs of War is an absolutely exceptional album from bang smack in the middle of the 90s. Alrighty, so that was my quick response to GrungeFinland, so showcasing 7 albums from the 90s. As I mentioned, I think this thread's a cool idea. The 90s doesn't really get talked about too much here in the VC, and I think, you know, there's a lot of fantastic albums that have come out during the 90s, and 7 of which I just showed. So yeah, great idea, GrungeFinland. Really enjoyed doing this response. I hope you enjoyed it, despite me not really being too much into grunge. I still wanted to show a bit of support and upload this response because, as I said, cool idea. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Once again, if you haven't checked out GrungeFinland, definitely recommend doing so, and while you're at it, why not upload a response to this thread. Until next time, thank you for watching.